What's up guys, today we're playing Poplar Creek Golf Course in Burlingame, California. This course plays just under 5,600 yards from the gold tees and just over 6,000 from the tips. However, I will mention later, just because this course isn't very long doesn't mean it doesn't play long. In honor of the NFL playoffs, I split the uprights here with the perfect second shot to get back into the fairway. Today I will be giving my perspective on what I believe makes this course solid and some downsides about it. The first con is that the course does not hold water very well, as you can tell by the bunker. And if you play here in the rainy season, you just know that it might be muddy and you have to wait a few days after the rain. 20-footer here for birdie and just catches a lip, and not many times to start off under par. Second hole, and what I believe is the hardest hole in the Bay Area, at least from what I've played. This dogleg right par 4 has water down the whole left side, and the local rules state anything right of the cart path on the right side is out of bounds. This hole can play very long. With OB and water, it makes you think about hitting the iron out there safely. However, if you do this, you may be forced with a 200-yard plus approach shot into a very undulating green, with a tree guarding the right side. Here you cannot miss left, as you get a good indication of this putt and how much it moves. A bogey on this hole feels like a par, and I'm happy to walk out even through 2 holes. The par 3s on this course are no joke. You may look at the scorecard and tell yourself that you can play from the tips. However, there are 3 par 3s here that can play easily 200 yards. Not only is this one 175 yards, if you play later on in the day, this is dead into the wind. A 175-yard shot can easily feel like 220. Water left, and there's no point trying to flirt with that. There are 3 holes in this course where bogeys feel like pars. 2, 3, and 13 are the most difficult holes on the course, I believe. And you could add 12 out there too with the wind. Finally, catch your breath as you get to watch probably my coolest shot I ever hit. The first positive thing about this course is that majority of the holes are wide open. Outside holes 2, 3, 13, and arguably 18, you can hit a driver and easily be able to play and find your ball if you have a big slicer hook. Now with that being said, this course can be also extremely dangerous for the same reason. With the lack of separation between the holes and not a lot of trees, an errant shot can easily hit someone. I am one of those persons who have hit someone a couple years ago, and if you're watching this video, again, I am deeply sorry. Another pro is the greens here are pretty friendly when it comes to approach shots. Even though a lot of them have a lot of slope, there are some of the bigger greens that I've played in the Bay Area. It can really help your greening regulations out. 6 holes, a short par 4, and if you want to hit the green, I had to swing 110%, and you know what that leads to. If you played here, you know all about this driving range, and that leads into my next con. I try to avoid this range as it can be pretty dangerous. If you can hit a golf ball anywhere farther than 175 yards, you have a great possibility of hitting it out sideways of the range. Anywhere from around 200 yards and on, the range is about the width of a fairway, and is not a great place to try and figure out your longer clubs. 7th hole, and although it seems like a long par 3, this hole will normally be downwind later on in the day. However, in the morning time there is no wind, and if this shot isn't an indication I need to hit the range, I don't know what is. My chips today have normally been coming off to the left, but can't complain as I did not want to miss right. Here, try to lag this one up there. And my playing partner was nice enough to give this to me. Another short par 4, and unlike on hole 6, I did not try to kill it to reach the green. This is another hole where you can take a 5-iron and easily have a wedge into a 2-tiered green. One tip for you guys, if the pin is in the top tier, do not miss left of the green. This tee shot went so far left, there's so much room over there that it was fine. A blind second shot, but I knew there was a slope that feeds back right. Just unfortunately carried it too far and missed it. Long birdie luck, pushed this one badly, and speaking of pushes, the second par 5, and look how open this is. Basically cannot miss, unless you duck hook it into the trees right like I normally do. Believe it or not, my driver has been one of my strengths recently, and I've been working to rotate earlier and keep my hands back at impact. But going back to the golf course, this course is very easy to walk. It is basically all flat, and the biggest hill you have to worry about is maybe 8 feet on hole 15. Today the cart rules were 90 degrees, and as you can tell why with that third shot in the mud. Even though the shot tracer looked like it hit my playing partners, it wasn't close to them. This hole location is absolutely brutal as it sits basically on the peak of 2 hills. And here I didn't even think about lining up my putt, just didn't think about it and hit it. Ended up being one of my better putts of the day. The longest par 4 on the course, and if you told me that this would be the hole to end my bogey train, I would laugh at you. A somewhat decent drive, set up my shot of the day with this beautiful 3-wood. And just like last hole, I had a similar length putt, with this being a little more straightforward going up the hill the last third of it. This par 4 is a great designed hole. There's water all down the middle of the fairway, and even though it's only 207 yards to carry the water, I knew I could not reach the green. A 170-yard tee shot will leave you with less than 125 yards to the spin location. In this hole, you can take a driver and go for it, or play it up the right side by the power lines, however too far right, and you'll go OB. I like to angle better from the center of the fairway rather than trying to go down the right side. Back-to-back holes with birdie looks, and I leave this downhill putt short. This par 3 from the tips can be played all the way back to 210 yards. Just like two of the previous par 3s, this hole also plays straight into the wind. If you've been around Burlingame, you know how bad the wind can get. Honestly, I don't know what happened with that chip, as I think I got under it. Normally with the skill level, I'm happy to chip once and 2-putt for a bogey. However, today we're trying to do the opposite. I got a perfect read from my playing partner, and although he didn't hit it hard, I saw it dove right at the end. Now this hole always gets me. This is my Nemesis hole. Dogleg left, and I believe the part that always gets me is the previous green is in play with my duck hook to the right. So that leaves the trees left for me in play, and that's what normally happens. And now you get to watch me blow up on this hole. Has anyone hit a tree root before? Well, if you haven't, this is basically how it feels. The nearest tree for me was about 20 feet behind me. I did not think I would have to worry about it. But one broken wrist later and have my 4th shot into the green, and at this point I just want to get off the hole. Here I must have spoke my duck hook into existence. Speaking of duck hooks, not really a pro or a con, but there's a shooting range nearby the course, so if you hear gunshots, you don't have to worry about it. The par 5 can be tricky if you try and lay up for your 3rd shot. There's a creek that is blind from the fairway, and if you're new to playing this course, make sure you get a good look from the par 3 12s as you get an idea of where to try to play your shot. Try to draw this one to the back pin. Captain Hook came to play. Were 3 shots, 3 hooks. Thought I was screwed, but had a great flop shot to save par. I was debating between an 8 and a 7 iron. Told myself the 8 wouldn't get you a hole in one. Clubbed up to the 7 and tracking the whole way, but just missed long, and from what I thought was in the bunker. I think I'd rather be in the bunker on this shot. Debated for a couple minutes trying to figure out what to do, from either hitting righty to between the legs, but realized this was the safest shot. Just to get on was a win, and try to walk out of here with a par. However, misread this one and tapped in for a bogey. Last par 5 of the day, and just like hole 2, everything left of the big tree is OB. Decided to hit my best drive of the day on the last driver hole. Last con I have about playing here is that on the weekend the pace can be slow to horrific. Last year I had a round that was just about 5 hours long. So if you decide to play here and you want to make sure you play 18 holes, make sure you designate enough time to play a full 18. However, this course is one of the most affordable courses in the Bay at only $59 for primetime weekend rates, and from my experience, more likely to find a tee time here than just about any other course. 17th hole, and what was my favorite hole, at least it once was after watching what happens here. So par 3 over a big bunker garden to the front left. Pin was in the back, so played it perfectly up in the middle, only leading to 2 straight putts being left short. Closing hole, and what I believe is the prettiest hole in the course. 2 bunkers about 235 yards down the fairway, making driver unnecessary. There's a small strip down the middle if you want to hit a driver, but no need. A 2 iron here leaving me with a 52 into the green. I've never seen the pin location here before, and most of the time I play it on the back shelf. This is the biggest green on the course, and a shot aimed up at the middle is pretty good for any of the hole locations. And wouldn't it be cool if it ended up with a birdie? But however, keeping up with the trend, just leaving this short. This one was hard for me to rate. Price-wise, this is one of the top options, but if we're talking about year-round consistency, I would put it as an 8.45. Let me know where you would rate it, and until then, I will see you in the next one.